Hi, Kyle and Feynman.
Hi, Kyle, Shui, and Yi. Good morning and good afternoon.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Kyle, I believe it's 8 p.m. in your time zone or 7 p.m.
7.
Okay. So good evening.
Yeah. Where are you guys located? What time zones?
I'm based in Beijing and in Beijing time zone, and it's currently 8 a.m.
Gotcha.
Hi, Andrew.
Hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all the fun stuff. I'm normally based in Chicago, but I'm in France this week, so it's 1 a.m. over here.
Oh, you're in the France.
Yep.
KubeCon Europe this year will be hosted in Paris, in France.
Yep, just down the road. I'm actually in Strasbourg, which is about 2 hours to the northeast.
Let's wait for a couple of minutes for others to join us. And while waiting for others, I would like to encourage you guys take a look at the agenda and see if there's any information, agenda topics, and links you want to add to the agenda. Let me share that link.
Hey folks, Happy New Year.
Hi, Toddy. Happy New Year. Let's wait for 1 more minute. Hi, Sydney. Good afternoon. Okay, I think we have most of the maintainers joined, and we can start. And the recording is also started, so we can kick off today's meeting. And I will be continue to running today's meeting and also share my screen. So before I kick off today's meeting, I want to confirm, is there anything missed in our agenda items? Let me share the screen, and so you will be able to see the agenda items. Can anyone see my screen? I'm currently hanging out on the agenda topics of today's meeting.
Yes, I can see it.
Thanks, Billy. So for the second topic, the proposal of Argo CD integration with ORAS. So Andrew, do you want to attach a link for this proposal?
Yep, I will attach a few different links. Give me 1 second. I was just pulling those links up.
Okay.
I'm
Another question.
I'm adding it right now. I gotta sign in first.
Oh, okay. You will need to sign to edit this document.
Right. Yeah, 1 second.
Okay. So, another question for Kaya. I saw you post a message about a PR in the Slack channel before this meeting, several hours ago, right? Do you have any questions or something you want to ask and confirm in this meeting?
Yeah, I just want to see if anybody's, yeah, I guess I'm done with it. I want to see what, I think there's no to-do items on that thing. I'm curious if what else is necessary to get that sucker merged.
Okay. If you feel there's something you want to follow up with ORAS Go maintainers, feel free to add to this list. Then we will be able to track them later. All right, we have 10 people joined. So if you wanna introduce yourself and give a brief introduction to yourself, feel free to open your microphone. I noticed that there are a few members who are new to this meeting. Sydney, would you wanna give a brief introduction? I'm not sure if you are available to enable your microphone.
Oh, hi. I'm Sydney. I am a PM on the Microsoft ARM deployments team. So I work on Bicep as well as some other deployments technologies. And we heard about this from you guys, and we're really interested in contributing to this project because we think it'll be really great for ourselves as well as other people. Yeah, so we're looking to see where we can contribute. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, welcome, Sydney. Okay, back to our agenda items. So first one, I think this is from Sajay, and I saw the PR status was merged a few weeks ago. So, and Sajay is also, oh, I saw Sajay joined. Hey, Sajay, do you have any follow-ups with this PR?
No, thanks.
Okay, so actually we are investing time and efforts to polish the ORAS.NET SDK, this repository, and make some fundamental works to this repository, so others can be easier to contribute and engage with that project. You know, ORAS.NET project was started at the middle of last year, and it was also started as a mentorship project. So the maturity is not very well. It's not very enough last year. Although we have the first release out in the second half of last year, so we are continue to improve the maturity of that project. I think that PR is one of the action to improve the functionalities of the ORAS.NET SDK. If there's nothing from Sajay, I think we will skip the first topic and continue to go over the second one.
All right, so I'm very excited about this. So for those of you who are newer, don't know, my name is Andy Block. I'm a distinguished architect at Red Hat. I'm a maintainer both on on the ORAS project, but also on Helm. And this what kind of got me into this whole world. And what I would like to propose, and I propose upstream, is to integrate native OCI support within Argo CD. For those of you familiar with Flux, the other GitOps tool, it already supports OCI as a first-class citizen within its ecosystem. And I would love to be able to introduce this and integrate this within Argo CD. How many here are familiar with Argo CD? Raise your hand. You can just say yes, doesn't matter.
Yes, but not very deeper.
Cool. And it looks about half, which is good. One of the challenges I have working with some of my customers are is you don't always have access to a Git server, but you want to leverage the benefit of GitOps. I work in some regulated industries, and they also consider Git to be a development resource, and development should never touch production. So how can we make it easier and provide a single way of storing content, which is basically your OCI registry? So why don't we go ahead and integrate Argo CD and being able to retrieve manifests that are stored in OCI registries. So this is the proposal I put together upstream in the Argo CD community. It was accepted as a proposal, and I have a desire to make this a reality. ORAS actually is in the Argo CD project as it sits today. So it's only natural for ORAS to be the library that gets used to be able to facilitate the integration of OCI content. It's everything from packaging, building, or basically storing and retrieval. And what I'm looking to see is if there's any interest in working with the Argo CD community to build that integration. We have a lot of really skilled and technical folks on this group, and it would be great. I mean, we could certainly have folks in the Argo CD community start, but if there are anyone in this group who are interested in contributing to this effort, I'm definitely looking at seeing engaging interests to be able to bring them into the Argo CD community to bring the two groups together. And that's really it. I posted the link to the proposal, bit of a planning doc where I put a lot of thoughts on everything that needs to take place. Obviously, creating a client and integration is going to be key using ORAS, but basically, I'm just here to gauge some interest and see what your thoughts are about this entire proposal.
Thanks, Andrew. And there's another planning document which lists some actionable items for the proposal, right?
Yeah.
Would you want me to open that, or
Yeah,
you
if you
want to
could,
share your screen?
it'd be great. You can just open it. It's just a Google Doc. So basically, I kind of talk about the high level plans of what it would take to become a reality. So basically, utilize the tooling. This is basically the first step is that integration of ORAS and as a way to manipulate content, everything from pulling from an OCI, storing, packaging, so that various tools, whether it be the native functionality within Argo CD or the Argo CD CLI, can integrate with it. And really, everything else comes more into like an implementation detail from the Argo CD side. But at least from this side, definitely interested in some of the baseline primitives, the tooling, and the format. I kind of propose a few media types that we would attach to this So that's about it. Just gauging interest and seeing if anyone's interested in helping contribute. And if you're obviously don't want to speak now, we can definitely have further conversations in our Slack channel in ORAS. And then if we are really interested, we can certainly bring those into the Argo CD side of things. Thanks for the opportunity tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. I believe there are a lot of contexts that people will need to be aware of and need time to understand the needs of this proposal. So I would encourage that we give more time for ORAS maintainers and other new folks to take a look at those two documents.
Yeah, so I can I can second some of your thoughts there. So I think so on my side we use Flux CD. I guess Argo CD's competitor, right? And we use Git, and we also use OCI as a source for Flux. We are switching to using only OCI for Flux for compliance reasons. Primarily compliance reasons pushed down by legislation and other things that are coming. So yeah, I want to underscore that, yes, this is important. And my sector does use Argo CD, just not my team. So it looks like Flux CD uses Go Container Registry, so
Correct.
the backend for Crane. But yeah, I think ORAS is a better match for what you're trying to do.
And it's already in the project as well, so it's just an easier ask. It's like, okay, it's already there. Don't have to bring in another, get a vote on a dependency. It's already there.
Yeah.
Is there any feature asks to light up Argo CD that we want to prioritize? And that would be the first thing that we can also start with, right? Like to get this to Argo CD, you need something that's fundamentally missing in ORAS.
So I think a lot of it is bringing more awareness to the project. So for ORAS, that is. And if you get more folks from the community of Argo CD who can kind of get back on this, I think it's going to make our project even stronger. I love having more contributors. It does obviously bring more cooks into the kitchen, but usually you turn your 4-course meal into a 10-course meal, but it's a 10-course Michelin star meal. I know there are plenty of folks, in this community who are very, very technical in the underpinnings and basically know how to optimize Aura's integration and who could definitely provide some input. Because I have a little POC I put together that literally is just how I use the Argo CLI to package content and retrieve it. It's so dumb, to be honest, but it's at least something. I'll add that to the meeting minutes as well in a minute.
We can also amplify this proposal in the ORAS community, Slack channel, and social media handle, and see if anyone. I believe you are seeking for the maintainers or someone who have very deep backgrounds and the knowledge base about ORAS Go, right? Because Argo CD is written in Golang language, and you're planning to use ORAS Go under the hood with Argo CD.
Yep, exactly. And also, this whole topic will be presented at ArgoCon coming up. So that's going to be in a few months. So I'd like to be able to show some forward steps towards this goal. Obviously, we're not going to get anything complete in 2 months on a project like Argo CD. We can certainly show the art of the possible to get people excited, and then follow up in future events as the initiative moves forward.
You mean the ArgoCon at KubeCon, the collated event?
At KubeCon, correct. So clearly it has interest from the panel. Awesome. I'll add that link and you can check on it in a little bit.
Yeah, so to summarize, I think at this moment, there's no specific feature requirements raised to ORAS Go or ORAS library. So this is the proposal, and you wanna looking for people who are interested in contributing to this proposal and who are also familiar with the ORAS Go.
Correct. I'm looking to see who's interested because I definitely see as we start to develop. I always say you can develop like a library like Auras, but until you have consumers start to push on it and seeing ways of improving, that's how we'll actually make this library and project stronger. As always, thanks for the time.
Okay, I think I will help to amplify this proposal in the community after this meeting and see if anyone from the community who can understand this proposal and the actions for that you list in this document. Then there might be some person who will contact you in the future. And again, thank you, Andrew, for promoting ORAS in the Helm community, in the Argo CD. You did a great job in the community advocacy and bring the project into a wide ecosystem. If there's no more things you wanna share from Andrew, so I think we will be able to continue. I saw Jesse joined. Hi, Jesse.
Hey, yeah, I didn't know what the format of the call was, so yeah, I did join, and then it fell over. Let me see. Yeah, my camera's not working either. It's all right. Can you hear me? You can hear me at least.
I can hear you. I can hear you. It's very clear. I think
Okay.
it's your first time to be this meeting, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Would you mind give a brief introduction to yourself? And I
Oh,
believe,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, Jesse Butler. So I'm a engineer and principal technologist at AWS. Before that was with OCI, before that Sun Microsystems. I've been around for a while. I worked on and off with OCI since the start. And so came back recently working on reference types and stuff. So not really involved with this project, but I use it all the time, which is what led me here. Because I was stuck on 1.0 without realizing that I updated to 1.1 and things didn't work in my registry. Hi, everybody. And I know some of you. I know Sajay and Toddy and hi.
Welcome, Jesse. And I believe there's one topic proposed from your side. It's actually the ORAS manifest delete issue that we discussed in the Slack channel as well as in the GitHub issue. So I saw there might be someone added to the bottom of this agenda list.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to talk about that. We can. I don't know. In your, you have a couple other bullets in the agenda first. That's fine. I can hang out.
Okay. So if you can wait for a while, I think I will finish.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I will quickly update the ORAS 1.2. It's the release the development status and collect the ideas on the estimated date. Then I will hand it over to Jesse. I think we will discuss the GC, the garbage collection options for tag-based schema, and focus on that issue that you raised last week. This is a link that I shared in September last year, which is to aggregate or the milestone of ORAS 1.2 and list those major enhancements for 1.2. And some of the items are suggested for including in this release, and some of the items and issues are marked as nice to have. Means we will not have any commitment for those issues that are marked as nice to have, but it depends on the resource in the community. And so I think we can take a quick look at this milestone discussion and go over those issues and see a potential ETA for 1.2. And I know there are a few issues that related to Jesse, your recent blocking issues, and I will see, and let's see how can we resolve those issues and see if it is possible to bring it into 1.2. The first part that we wanna improve in 1.2 is to standardize the CLI output for scripting experience and improve the output experience. So we have a PR that document the specification for ORAS JSON output, and we have completed several rounds of that PR, and I believe that one is still in the progress. Meanwhile, we also added the progress bar to most of the ORAS CLI commands. So apparently you will be able to see the progress bar from the console when you execute the ORAS command. So those two related issues for progress bar are already completed. So this is one of the major enhancement for the output improvements. But for this one, the JSON output, this is still in progress, and we will need more reviews. We will need more reviews and get approvals from ORAS maintainers. So let me share the spec link, and I would expect that ORAS maintainers can help take a look at that spec. I just shared a link related to the spec for formatted JSON output. So maintainers, please help to continue review that PR. For verbal slog, I think we will not have enough resource to finalize the related issues for verbal slog. So I'm thinking we can move the verbal slog from 1.2 to maybe next release 1.3 or V2. And in this release, we actually improved the default error output of ORAS, and we also have a spec to standardize and document the error message guidance. So that PR has already been approved by 3 maintainers, and I think there are also a few issues that are targeting to implement and improve the error messages in this release. But for verbal slogs, we may not have enough time to finalize all of the verbal slogs related issues. Is there any concern for this part? If not, I think we'll mark those issues related to verbose logs as 1.3 milestone. The next one, image lifecycle metadata management experience through annotations. We have one issue raised from an user, but from the image lifecycle metadata management point of view, there's not only the single issue, and there are a few issues related to this area. So I'm thinking we can have a comprehensive plan to improve the image lifecycle metadata experience and have a spec to document the desired experience for this feature. And we also don't have enough resource for this part for this issue. So I think I would encourage that we move this issue to the next release. And in the next release, I think we will have a comprehensive specification to document the desired experience, the user behavior, and related scenario for this feature, instead of fixing the single issue. On this one, optimize the ORAS performance. I think we decreased the authentication request time by using the latest ORAS Go library, and this has been fixed in 1.2. I think this is done. For those nice to have items, we have only one area.
So 1 second. So go back up.
Oh yeah, if there's anything.
That number 1105, the optimized number of auth requests. So that's, I mean, ORAS Go provides 2 methods to do auth now. It has 2 different ways to do it. The normal cache and this modified one. That's a single context one. But there is no mechanism for like a command line tool like ORAS Go to actually choose which one it wants to use intelligently without pushing that complexity up to the user, which I presume you didn't do, which means I don't think that's actually done from an ORAS perspective.
So Kyle, you are proposing to add a flag or 2 options to enable ORAS CLI users to choose which ORAS approach they want to use in ORAS CLI?
I mean, I hate pushing stuff up to the user. I like pushing complexity down as opposed to up. But I haven't figured out a way yet to. That's not true. I mean, we do have the ability to do it within the ORAS command line tool, but that's just a conversation that probably needs to be.
I think we can have an issue in ORAS CLI repo.
So what did this, I'm not familiar with like this particular issue. I worked on the ORAS Go side of things. What was changed in here?
This one is just to enable, on the ORAS Go side, is just enable the host-based, no, sorry, a repository-based cache. Before this PR, there was no, it was just, there was some bugs.
Okay, so this, okay, I need to go look at that PR. So that, okay, so it uses the new single context cache function.
No,
in ORAS Go?
this one was kind of old.
Oh, okay.
Before for the single context cache is available.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So I guess I gotcha. Okay, yeah, I see. I
Yeah,
saw that stuff
since
in there.
since the single context one is very new, we can open a new issue on the RCLI repo to discuss.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, sounds good.
So Kyle and Sylvia, who will be able to raise that issue and elaborate on the specific feature request regarding the auth request? Will you, Kyle or Sylvia?
I can.
Okay, please. And I assume that that issue will not be a part of 1.2 because this is an
Right,
temporary. Yeah. Okay.
It's not an obvious fix.
So let's continue. So for the multi-arc image index management, this is nice to have, and currently we don't have enough resource to cover all of those issues in 1.2. So those are still tentative, and we will not complete all of those issues related to the multi-arc image index management. These issues will be moved to the next release, the next milestone, I mean. So for the content management in the OCI image layout, this was marked as nice to have initially, but after several rounds of discussion in the community, we found that there's a dependency from Notary project who uses the OCI image layout and ORAS to manage their local signing experience. So with the support of deleting content, the blob and the manifest in OCI image layout, it will help the Notary project to delete the signature from the OCI image layout. And we also see there are some other user requests for content management in the OCI layout. So we prioritized these two issues and finalized them in this release. So deleting blob and manifest with ORAS will be supported in 1.2. And these capabilities has also been supported in ORAS Go. The last one is to improve the package manager like WinGet and Snap management experience. This issue is intended to automate the package manager management in the GitHub Actions workflow. This is still in the progress, and it doesn't impact the release. It doesn't impact the 1.2 release, so we can continue to invest time. And I think we also need to unblock this issue in the upstream in the Snap community, right, Billy? I think you are following up with this issue.
Yes.
Did you see any help wanted for this issue, especially for the Snap package manager?
We're trying to have a special handling from a special casing from Snap, because we need to make ORAS classic. So I'm applying for that, and they are like responding, and the whole process take a lot of time. I'll check the progress today. If I need help, I'll let you know for pushing and further.
Okay, thank you, Billy. There was a user who asked the release timeline of ORAS v1.2. I was expecting that we can have v1.2 available around the middle of January, but based on the current status, we cannot make that around the middle of January. So I would like to propose a new ETA for 1.2. By the way, looking at this user's asking, I think they are looking for the PPC 64 LE. This ARC support in this release. Yeah, I saw your suggestion for accelerating the progress of this meeting. I agree with that, and I will move on to the next topic. Actually,
before you go onto that, it's it feels like the mount stuff that I was working on, the PR for ORAS Go is almost done. Somebody already cooked it up into ORAS, the command line tool. I don't know if that's something we can get in ORAS, but mounting is a big performance improvement on things. So that might, I don't know. It's a big feature. Not that it was that hard to implement once you figured out how we wanted to do it, but.
You mean the cross repository mounting?
Yeah. You're looking at ORAS, right? Yeah. So is that in 2.4 or? Look at the pull requests. Like scroll on down. There's a pull request that's ready to land for this.
I think in this section it has 3 related pull requests.
Yeah, it's that second, the green one, the middle guy. That's the one that we've converged on. It's gonna land. I think it's gonna land soon, and I think the change to ORAS to use it is minimal. Someone's already hacked it in there to try it out. In one of the previous pull requests, they did that. So adding that to like the copy command would be a nice value add to users. And I think it's low effort, but that's all I wanted to say. I mean, you don't have to worry about this now.
Is there anything blocking this from getting merged?
I think just needs one other review. I don't know.
Actually, Sylvia has reviewed this one. And I have noticed that you have just the comments, but there's no new commits. So
I updated the commit that was there.
Oh, okay. And then I think
just so
this
there's
draft
only
can be
one
merged
commit.
today.
You guys like having one commit off of main. So I squashed it.
Yeah, but I don't see the code get updated. Did you push the new commits?
Oh, let me look. Maybe I goofed something up. Oh, I know what I did. Yep, I'll fix that right now. You're right. Good catch. I put it on a different branch, not on the branch that you guys needed on. I will fix that.
Okay, so Kyle, I think I will have a question related to how can we enable the cross repository mounting in copy, this enhancement in ORAS Go, and how can we enable this underlying functionality to ORAS CLI users. I think I should be able to understand and see if there's any
the PR
request
has an example of how to use it. It really, you're just adding 2 more copy options, one for logging and one for telling me where to mount from. So it's a pretty easy integration. When you're implementing copy, you know exactly where you want to mount from.
I think Billy can help integrating this feature to our CI. As Billy already has a POC for the previous Aura Scope PR by Cal.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into it.
Okay, we have 14 minutes left, so I think we will need to hand it over to JC and discuss this issue. Let me attach the issue link.
We can. Like I said before, I put a comment in the issue. Shui has been responsive, as well as I think Sylvia. I'm not sure who, somebody else. So yeah, there's discussion happening there. I think mostly we just want to be clear on kind of the decision and why. I think, yeah, for the most part, the thread, oh, it's Billy. The thread's been really good to kind of clarify some of the decisions that were made. The last comment from Shui, I think you indicated that you would prefer, you indicated you'd prefer to see the behavior of 1.1 retained. And I just wanted to be clear that there kind of was a lot said about being able to drop that option to skip delete because it was experimental, but it actually changed the behavior of the 1.0 client, right? It literally flipped the logic, and now we're kind of creating, yeah. So that, yeah, this is a good summary here. So for anybody who's not familiar with this, to participate in the discussion. So like I said, I use ORAS all the time with ECR, but I was using the 1.0 client and I was like, oh, I'm out of date. So I updated and things stopped working. So one of the things that I noticed is that when I delete a referring artifact that is client managed, meaning there's an index and we're using the tags-based schema fallback, right? The update process by which because there's no update in the registry, right? Immutable. So you pull by tag, you modify, you push, reset the tag, and then delete the old one, the stale index. 1.1 doesn't do that anymore. 1.1 doesn't do the last step. By default, it keeps the stale index. So what happens in ECR and potentially other registries is that we block the deletion of a manifest which is referred to by an index. So you can't delete anything. You have to go and delete the stale indexes, which then is fine, but that's kind of problematic. And so, yeah, I think we all agree that we need to bring an option back to either delete that stale index or to preserve the stale index. And the question is, like, what should the default behavior be? I think, and that's where we are. So I think, Shui, your comment, I'm perfectly fine doing whatever the project thinks we should do, but I want to be clear about it. If the sort of the GC flag, or I won't wax poetic about garbage collection. Like, I don't really feel like this has anything to do with garbage collection. What you are basically doing is updating a file on that's immutable, right? So what you have to do is you have to modify a copy and replace it, right? And so I feel like that operation, while it's not atomic, it is still an operation. And the idea that leaving behind the stale index is garbage and then removing it as garbage collection, it kind of makes it sound optional. I don't think it's really optional. That's kind of my opinion. Because what happens here in the default behavior of 1.1 is we just create a bunch of stuff. Like, it's a bunch of useless stale indexes and they just pile up. And that change was made because the sort of you discovered with 1.0 that not all registries implement deletion, right? Which is perfectly valid. The OCI distribution spec says that registries may implement deletion. But the sort of the default behavior favors that versus being able to delete the file. The problem in 1.1 is that we then remove the option to even force the delete. So I think that's a summary. That's workable. Anybody else have nuance to add? Not that Toddy speaks. Oh yeah, so Sajay, Toddy seems to want you to speak.
I know he's throwing me under the bus. Actually, I'm going to do the opposite.
Okay.
Because I think when we ran ORAS with Docker Hub, it was breaking because it doesn't support manifest delete.
Yep.
And that was the pivoting decision where, oh, we should not try to delete, especially when you're trying to add a referrer or update a referrer. And so that was pulled out. That's the context. I don't have a problem if we bring back the flag. I'm totally fine with it. It does change behavior, but would that solve the? Is that where you're leaning
Well,
towards?
so I think that's the thing I wanted to talk about, Sajay. So yeah, it changes behavior and sort of. Well, in 1.1 we changed the behavior too, right? Like dropping the flag is okay because I think Feynman like pointed that out, right? Like that was an experimental option.
Right.
The real problem is you change the default behavior, which means that like when you delete a manifest with 1.0 and Docker Hub, it fails, right?
Mhm.
And I think GCR, I think a number of other registries do not implement deletion. So it's not just a Docker Hub thing. It's some registries don't and some do, and that's perfectly fine. OCI compliant behavior. But I think the problem is that we traded off this weird failure, and I completely agree. It's very weird that you're trying to delete something and then you're trying to add, like when you're trying to attach something. I think that was what you were seeing is like you attach it and then update in the manifest, the index, it would complain about a deletion, right? So I totally agree with that. But the trade-off is that now it doesn't work in other places, right? So I guess the question is, what do you want to be the default? But it's not. I think what I'm trying to get around is like, the ECR, for example, is not necessarily an incorrect behavior, nor is Docker Hub, right? It's just deletion's optional. So into the future, does the project want to support 1.0 registries? Like, I think that's a question to answer. And then to say, if so, then you need to support both options, right? And then just decide what the default should be.
Right. I mean, the default delete option was what we went down because that made the most sense, right? But the problem was everybody in the current world would have to pass in skip delete or something like that. And
well,
that's
not everyone.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I was on the delete camp, right?
Yeah.
That's why Billy has this much context because we wanted to keep the delete as the default, but I think Toddy needs to speak here. Otherwise, I'll be kind of like pointing fingers at.
Why can't try delete be the default?
It is.
Well,
you mean like fail on don't like let
it's not fatal. If you don't if the registry does not support delete, it's fine. Move on. Eat the air. Put a little warning out saying, "Hey, skipping delete of this manifest."
Yep, that could be the delete. And then you could have a force if you wanted, right? But you don't need it.
There's a problem on how to determine whether the registry support delete or not. Okay, you try delete and you failed. You cannot decide whether it is the registry does not support it or the you don't have enough permission to do so, or there's a network issue or other things happens. So there's no way to deterministically to determine if the registry support delete or not. That's the major problem here for auto detection.
But the observation is that error is not fatal to the operation.
Yeah, like whether you don't have credentials, it's not supported, the thing doesn't exist anymore because somebody else already deleted it. All of those could be just, all right, we're going to skip deleting it and just carry on. So I think what Kyle had suggested is try the delete. And if it doesn't work, then carry on.
Okay, then there's a more problem here. So for example, a registry supported it, but for some reason, I failed to delete it. And okay, then you will find that that garbage will always be there and no one deletes it. It's leaking.
Yeah, I think.
And there's no warning, no errors. Silence happens.
I actually think that if delete's not supported, do you get like a 405? I think you get like a method not supported or something, right? Like I wonder if it's just I wonder if there's an error that we could catch specifically.
Here, Jesse, this is Tony. It's about time for me to jump in.
Oh, thank you.
But so everything that is said actually is valid. The whole problem comes from us. For example, Shiwei said, some of the registries return very obscure errors back that actually you cannot say whether you don't have permissions, whether delete is not supported, and so on. The whole problem comes from the OCI specifying that some registry may implement delete. However, I'm with you. So I think that my stance on the problem was what Terry just said. If you try to delete, if it fails deletion for whatever reason, log a warning and move on. I don't think we were logging a warning, and that was my biggest problem because that was breaking a lot of automation scripts that I was writing. And that kind of spurred all these things. Now, which way we're gonna go, it's up to the community. My personal opinion is we should have a way to say delete it, and if its deletion fails, log a warning. That's kind of my opinion on the behavior.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I'm super passionate about either way. I just want to make sure that the decision's getting made clearly. Like saying it's a breaking change actually was a valid argument for the 1.1 change, right? It's a breaking change from 1.0. If we reverted the logic 180, it would restore the GA behavior. Right. And having the switch, whether it's skip, delete, refers, which I think is really confusing, or if it's just preserve stale index or whatever we want to make it. Like we can do whatever. I just think I just want to make sure that we're making a clear decision. And I don't mind the try, like the default being try to delete, log an error, move on. Because like so right now the behavior that we're concerned about is what you get on ECR, except it also fails, right? Because we protect. So if a registry doesn't implement delete, or it doesn't implement delete protection, then it's completely silent and everything succeeds, and you just keep all the stale indexes. Which, okay, they're small, but you know, it's not great. But I could have like I mean, theoretically, I could be it could be a build system, and I could be building just a ton of stuff, and then I hit some maximum capacity in some managed service, and it would just be very confusing. So I think regardless, we're going to have. I think this has been a good issue, and then it's like bringing all this stuff to light, and we can really work through it. And now we have a lot of people looking at it. Not that didn't happen before, but I think it was like, oh, it's failing on Docker Hub, so let's fix that. I think the real situation is that it could fail either way in a lot of different places. So for the project, we should just try and like kind of build a matrix of that and say, what's the best default behavior? And then what kind of options can we put in there? Anybody passionate about a default behavior?
I don't have a passion about the default behavior as long as actually when we fail delete the index, we don't break automation. I'm passionate about that part.
Okay, so that would kind of align with what Kyle's suggestion is, right? So we could default to trying to delete, and if it fails, log a warning and be verbose about it, but return success. Did I hear that right?
Correct, except I don't care about whether it's default try to delete or whether you put a flag to say force delete, and if it fails, you log a warning.
I feel like, what do other people think? I feel like if there's a flag that says delete it, if that fails, I kind of want to fail the command. Like I feel if I ask for explicit behavior, I would want it to fail.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
Kyle, did I summarize your proposal correctly?
Yeah. Yeah, and I
Makes
agree
sense
with
to
you
me.
on that. I agree with you on your last point that if you give a flag saying, you know, delete
Enforced
old
behavior.
manifest or whatever it's called, then yeah, that's failure mode.
Okay. Okay. I think I mean I have enough to actually, you know, to certainly cut a PR and then we can talk about it. A flag to force deletion would be good. Okay.
Can we,
Okay.
Jesse, one
Yeah.
ask, can we eventually at least test some of the major registries?
Yeah, I think we should test them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another reason that that I took Feynman's invite to come to the meeting, though I think we're out of time if it's an hour-long meeting. I do want to talk about just testing, like resources. So for a release, being able to test on the different registries. I think, you know, it's a CNCF project. At least, and just the people in the room I know, at least Sajay and I have seen large scale use of other cloud resources under the auspices of CNCF governance. So maybe that's something that we could look at longer term.
So one question. So Toddy and Jesse, you are proposing to test the deletion behavior against the major registries in the industry, right? Only the deletion behavior supports.
In general, I think what Jesse is saying, we should be able to have tests for all behaviors, but this is very convoluted and controversial right now, so we should go with that first.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, I can cut a PR for this and I can test it against, you know, 5 or 6 different things. I have accounts in, you know, GCP and Azure. I'll test Azure for you if you want. Artifactory, Harbor, Nexus, Dot. Like there's a bunch of things we could test. So longer term, I think for a future meeting, it would be good to discuss maybe a strategy or have a proposal or something, a doc on how we can bring some resources into the project so that we can get some
to
automated
piggyback
testing.
on that, what I've seen is that yeah, I've been using Artifactory for I use lots of different registries, but the one that gives me trouble is Artifactory generally.
Yep.
And I have some issues with them related to auth right now and some other different oddities that they have.
Sure.
But like Oras's auth, the way it works with Artifactory is bad news as it currently stands. Every single request has to be re-authenticated. You get a 401 for every single request you make. So
wow.
That new single context thing does fix that, but Oras command line tool would have to use it. But my point is, when we do these testing scenarios, it might be useful to have a mechanism to output some simple things like the number of and type of different requests that were made. Just dump them to a file. Like, hey, this is what we did. Because one of the things that Oras Go and Oras really wants to focus on, that's one of their goals, is performance from a network requests perspective, right? Trying to do it in the minimum number of requests. So it'd be useful to count requests, and then you do this and you hit all the registries, you build the table and you see, oh goodness gracious, you would see Artifactories calling, you'd be like, ouch.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's all.
Cool. Toddy's hand went up. Did you raise your hand or did you accidentally hit the button, Toddy?
Sorry, I'm on my phone. I don't know what buttons I hit. I wanted to say that I agree with Terry on the performance stuff.
It's a great idea. And I think having resources in the future for the project will help enable that. Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking at whatever the process you guys do there. Feynman, I'll ping you and you can tell me what process to follow to propose something like that.
Yeah, I
Testing
think what
resources.
should we propose is, yeah, as you can see the message box. So should we propose that it would be better that we have a comprehensive proposal documented for this issue and list those actions for how can we proceed the potential solutions for these issues and how can we be compatible with the major registries. I think we will need a document to for that. We have a folder for all of those documents, proposal documents.
Is that
I
so
can
docs
follow up with you.
proposals, you just file a PR for that?
Yeah. It's actually in the root folder of our CLI repository.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, JC.
Sure. Meanwhile, on the delete thing, I'll cut a PR and I'll do some testing and everybody can review it. I don't know how that impacts your 1.2.0 process. I don't think that it would get in there unless you want it to. Tell me, because otherwise I'll do this in my spare time as I can and not. Yeah.
Okay. So we will see how fast can we proceed resolving this issue, and also its related proposal. So we will need to align on the proposal first, then we can determine whether we should be able to bring this fix and implementation into 1.2.
Just to be clear on the cloud resources and that proposal, I think that's separate. I think that's a bigger picture, longer term thing. If that's okay.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I would like, I think the point is we want to just get the flag agreed upon if we are going to introduce a flag and then just make the warning happen and what the warning should be.
Are you saying that's what needs a proposal? Is the flag?
Either way works. Like otherwise
we combine two
people
topics. I'm sorry.
No, the point is we might like one flag, the other person wants another flag name, and then that goes on forever. So just agree on what the flag name is, and then we can kind of like get that out as well.
Okay.
I don't know if folks want to do it as an issue, that's also fine. Feynman, do you have any suggestion on that or?
Sorry, Sajay.
Do you want the flag name to be discussed in the issue, or do you just want to have another issue to track it?
I'm hoping that we can have a comprehensive proposal which documents all of the which puts the things together and the desired behavior for resolving this issue. Because we have a lot of context and discussion in the issue already, so maybe we can have a proposal to document what will be the desired experience and the proposal and the flag name and how the default behavior of using this flag.
Just like a short hackmd or something. Just say this is what happens. This is what happens.
Yeah, and we can archive that proposal in ORAS spec folder. We have a folder in the root directory of ORAS repository.
Yes, Feynman, can you just show that repository and that folder? It will be good.
Yeah, sure. There's a docs folder. Docs proposal. We usually put, for example, when we propose the image spec and the distribution spec flags, we created the proposal to collect ideas and suggestions from the community. After we align on the proposal, we'll be able to start the implementation, something like that, like this approach to proceed any new features or change in the community.
Yes, and we need that proposal, and that proposal should include all the behaviors and also the flag name. Because the change may be complex as based on the previous experiments, we may need to do some updates on the ORAS Go side.
Okay, so maybe a top-down doc on how. Yeah, we can move to Slack on this. I think maybe the proposal would not be just on delete then. Maybe it's more of a doc on how client managed tag-based refer schema works.
Yeah, and if you want to take a change from that into Orasco, that's what Shiva is kind of saying, we can do that.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I don't.
It's nice when everybody agrees on this, because then
Yeah.
otherwise you're not doing something that is just specific for one registry, and that's the tough part here.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. What's your timeline for 1.2?
We currently don't have a deterministic timeline for releasing 1.2, but I would like to propose February 6th for releasing 1.2, because there will be a long holiday in China after February 9th. So I'm thinking we can have the 1.2 available before February 6th.
Okay. I'll see how much time I can put on this in the next few days, and that will give me an idea, and then I'll ping you on Slack if I'm not gonna be able to put that much time into it.
So
Yeah,
quick
thanks.
question, Jesse, at this point, when you delete, when you update the index, do you at least know what the previous index was, or is that also not available?
What do you mean? From
Like,
the
is it-
client? No idea.
Yeah, it's not even scriptable, right? Like you can't say this was what the index was, and I can actually just pipe it to an ORAS delete manifest or something like that.
And super gross, there's nothing in content discovery that says you have to show untagged indexes.
Right.
So
So that's the only chance that you get to, okay, this was the index, and I at least pipe it to
Right.
something and then nuke it later.
So
Okay.
the only way I'm doing that, and presumably the way you do it on Docker Hub and GCR as well, is you make basically managed service API calls to look in, see what's in there, and then you can delete it.
Or you resolve the descriptor before you start updating the previous one. Either way,
Or
it's
that. Yeah, or that. Like you could say, oh, I'm gonna delete something. I better go get the digest of the of the manifest list I'm not even supposed to know about, right? Like, yeah, exactly.
Right.
This is not an easy problem. I just will say that, like, I wasn't part of this conversation months ago. I totally missed it. This is not easy. So there's nothing about this where I'm showing up and saying, oh, you guys made a mistake. Not at all.
We debated on this. It's
Of
like,
course. Oh, I see it. That's
feels painful. I think it's going to continue.
But that's why I think this is a good issue, because it's gonna just air it all out. We can write it all down. Like, and even the one issue, just having all of the really good the what's the word I'm looking at? The condensed version from Shiwei and from Billy, to just say, oh, these are the things. This is where we talked about. It's all in one place now, which is great. But yeah. Yeah, just for now, I mean, as you know, like we did the image signing stuff with notation. That's very important to us, and right now customers on ECR just cannot manage their stuff. Like, it's not right, so we've got to fix that part, because of the delete protection especially. So okay, I'll try and take some notes. I'll put some things together. I'll at least update the issue and just cut an initial PR just with just like a broad strokes, just to see what we think, and then we can start writing some more specific stuff. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, folks. We are 15 minutes over time.
Yeah, sorry.
No worries. I think so for another 2 agenda items we didn't cover it yet. Maybe we can continue to track them offline. All right, I will stop my sharing. And, thank you, folks. I will upload the recording and summarize the meeting notes later. Have a nice evening. Have a nice day.
Thanks all.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.